break it up. Don't think about it as one 500. You could think about it as two 250s, 5 100s, 10 50s, which is probably one of the most common, and I'll share a few different tips if you're trying to break 5 minutes at the end of the video. You can break it up in a non-similar way, meaning you might start with a 100, then you go a 200, and then another 200, or altogether you can break it into really tiny pieces like 20-25s. Breaking it up mentally allows you to manage both your physical energy, but also your mental energy as well. I love the expression, how do you eat an elephant? No, you're not gonna actually eat an elephant, but if you think about the task of a 500 or an elephant, one bite at a time. Now we're ready to actually talk about how do you split the event? How do you actually manage your time all the way through a 500? And we're gonna focus on yards, so 25-yard pool, short course, 75-foot pool, because that is the most common standard for the 500. On the men's side, we have Kieran Smith, 406.32, which is absolutely ridiculous. And at the 250 mark, meaning halfway through the race, he split 2 minutes. But if you think about it, what does that really show you? The first half and the second half were almost the same. Take Katie Ledecky, for example. Her best time is 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Her 250 split was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So that's what we'd call almost an even split. Now, for most of you watching this video, you're probably not swimming that fast. You're probably much slower, which is totally okay. And because of that, you actually want to think from the perspective of how do you negative split? Meaning, how do you swim faster on the second half than the first half, because that's actually going to yield you the best result when it comes to a performance. So let's talk about how you actually pace it. And if you take nothing away from this video, it's the importance of negative splitting your race and also your training. The first thing you have to do when you're pacing a 500 or really anything a little bit longer is you have to focus on easy speed on the front half. That means staying light on your legs. Don't over kick. Your legs are big muscles. They're using lots of oxygen. If you blow out your legs in the first 100 or the first 250 of the race, your legs are gonna be absolutely shot and you're gonna go slower and you're gonna fall apart. The third step is finding a breathing pattern early. Really, all of these three things happen in the first 30 seconds. Because in the first 30 seconds, if you don't have easy speed, if you blow out your legs, and you haven't figured out how often you're gonna breathe and you haven't gotten into that rhythm, the whole 500 is gonna be toast. You have to do these three things almost immediately. And the faster you can get into a breathing pattern, not use your legs, not overdo the tempo, easy speed, the better off you're gonna be. The fourth thing you wanna do is actually build your tempo and kick gradually. You should really focus on a gradual increase in tempo and really gradually developing your kick rather than making a knee-jerk move where you're all of a sudden going a lot faster with a lot more tempo and a lot more speed. And the fifth part here is to maintain your distance per stroke into the finish. It's very tempting to start spinning your wheels into the finish. And spinning your wheels simply means you're moving your arms faster and you're not grabbing water. You're trying to do so because you're trying so hard to finish the race or finish the set, but you're slipping. You're not catching water. You're not moving through the water as efficiently as you were at the beginning. That's why it's so important to develop that easy speed, get into a rhythm, and maintain your distance per stroke into the finish. That is how you negative split the 500 freestyle. This is how you develop the best time and really maximize your performance in the event. Now, when it comes to learning how to swim at different paces, there's no better way to do that than in a master spa. I'm currently sitting in the Michael Phelps Signature Momentum Swim Spa. This model has an adjustable current that is great for all levels. You can focus on your technique, swim all 4 strokes, and you can do it all from the comfort of your own house. I love how easy it is to adjust the speed and swim at my own pace. I can go from really slow all the way up to sub 1 minute per 100 meters, which is absolutely flying. Now, I've been in a few different models, and what I love about the Master Spa's Signature Momentum is how it gives you a really good workout, and it also doubles as a spa. It combines the benefits of swimming with a therapy of a hot tub. You have to give it a try, so head over to masterspas.com/myswimpro to get $1,000 off a swim spa or $500 off a hot tub. Now, if you don't mind, I have to get back to my swim workout. Next, if you want to swim a faster 500 freestyle, you have to train correctly. And when it comes to training, you really need to focus on variation. We talked about negative split, we talked about even splitting. You also have to learn how to build, descend, ascend. These are all different terminology that we use in swimming, so that way you can manage not only your effort level, but also your pure speed in the event. For example, if I told you to swim a 200-meter freestyle or 200-yard freestyle, and I want you to build, what you're doing is you're actually going to swim faster each of those 450s. It sounds pretty easy, but it's actually really difficult to accomplish this, and that's why it's so important that you really focus on these different variations in your training, because this is how you're gonna be able to throttle your tempo and your pace for shorter sets, and also to be able to increase your capacity and your endurance for longer sets. It's not just endurance, it's also speed, especially in the 500. Because if you don't have speed, well then you're not going to be able to have this thing called easy speed that I've been talking about, right? You need to be able to dive in the water, have a little pop in your stroke, and you're not really expending that much energy. So if you don't have the speed, you're not gonna be able to have that front end coast where you're not really trying going fast. And then of course you need the endurance to be able to maintain. Now when you train, you're gonna spend a lot of time swimming at what's called best average. And this is defined to a point where you're really going pretty fast, but you're not sprinting. You're able to maintain distance per stroke, and you're really not able to hold this for very long because you're simply putting in too much energy. So when you train at this pretty intense level, but not sprint level, that's pretty much what you're doing in the 500 distance. We call this middle distance, and best average and sets that really push yourself in the best average way are how you do that. Now let's talk about how to break 5 minutes in the 500. And whether your goal time is 6 minutes or 10 minutes, or you think, God, I just want to survive the 500 freestyle, let alone try and go under 5 minutes, that's fine, because this set and the strategy behind it still applies to you. I want to focus on 10 50s, because this is really the foundation that we're going to use for a lot of our training. This is 10 50s freestyle. If you're talking about going under 5 minutes, you need to be able to swim 10 50s freestyle and go under 30 seconds per 50. Now in terms of how much rest, maybe it's a 1-to-1 work to rest ratio, which means these 10 50s freestyle are gonna be on the minute, and no problem, you can hit 29 seconds from a push on every single one of these. If you can't do that, you probably can't break 5 minutes in the 500. When it comes to a specific set, I got something a little better for you. Here's a great set that will really assess where you're at, and you can modify as you get closer to competition. You go 650s freestyle in that best average effort level, where your goal time is under 30 seconds. If that's your goal, to go under 5 minutes, you gotta be under 30 seconds. 650s freestyle at the 50, trying to go 29 seconds or better. Gives you about 20 seconds rest. It's gonna be pretty tough on number 3, 4, and 5, and 6. You're gonna follow that up with 1 300 pull at the 4 minute. That's a 120 pace, and your goal time is to go under 330. This shouldn't be too difficult, but it's gonna keep your heart rate relatively elevated. You're gonna take a 1 minute break, and you're gonna repeat that 3 times. And if you can do this 3 times, go under 30 seconds, do it on the 50, you're definitely gonna be able to break 5 minutes when you taper in the 500 freestyle. If you're not there, and maybe you're going 31 or 32 seconds, that's fine. Either think about doing this only 2 rounds and swim faster, or increase the amount of rest that you get. But this is how you train to break 5 minutes in the 500 freestyle. If you want to learn how to break 1 minute in the 100 freestyle, check out this video over here. I'll see you over there, and happy swimming.